This is Raquel Martinez, and this is the Active Listening Project. I'm with Andrew.
Hi.
So, Andrew, what would you like to talk about today?
I turned 26 on Tuesday.
Congrats.
Thank you. Everyone keeps asking me how I feel, and I don't feel any different.
It hasn't set in yet?
No, not at all. I try to think about what happens on the last day of being 24 and the first day of being 26 and, like, everything in between, and, like,
You've had a lot going on?
No, everybody says, like, oh, so much clicks when you turn 26, but, like, no, it hasn't. I have more questions, but, like, I didn't have those aha moments people say happen when you're in your 25th year.
Yeah, no, I think that's just society putting it in your head. Trying to get
It'll come with time. It's still new. It was only on Tuesday.
Do you have, like, any goals for this year?
I quit smoking at 25 and got an apartment, and I didn't have those planned at all. So I've been treating myself left and right for my two really small accomplishments. And, like, there's something interesting. I did something really out of character on the day of my 25th birthday. 26th, excuse me.
26th.
Still getting used to it. I hopped on the back of a motorcycle for the first time and went on the highway, which is not really something you should be doing your first time on a motorcycle. And they had no protection but a helmet. And my driver is known for driving erratically. And I survived, and I'm happy to be here today.
Well, I'm glad you survived.
I'm never doing it again.
Are you terrified of, like, motorcycles? Or?
Yeah. I don't know how I know, but I've known since I was younger that I'm gonna die in a car accident, but I'm not driving. And I don't know how I know that, but, like, I know that. And it didn't really dawn on me because, like, you see people on motorcycles that are, like, women, sometimes, like, younger kids, like, on the back, like, holding dad, and I was like, that hard. Oh my god. Like, you see the gravel whizzing past you so fast it looks like TV static. And you're like, I can absolutely understand how people don't survive just falling off. Mm-hmm. And I've known the kid that was driving for about 5 years. And just the second we pulled away from the front of my house, I literally was going over our whole history in my head. Like, he's like, wee! And I'm in the back like, how long have I known him? How many car accidents has he been in? Do I trust him? Like, I'm going over our whole history, and he, like, two completely different experiences. But, I haven't been that consistently scared in a really long time. I thought maybe, like, 10 minutes and I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Wasn't. Then I was like, maybe after a half hour, like, this feeling in my stomach will go away. He lives an hour away, and at the 50-minute mark, I was still just as scared as I was the second we left, and I think it was the longest hour of my life, and I've never been so happy to see a driveway.
Would you do it again?
Maybe on a bigger bike. Somehow they seem safer. This one looked more like a bicycle with a motor. Really small, and he was a big guy. So, like, you have to lean when you turn.
You're like, how are we going to balance this?
Otherwise, you counter-steer the bike and make it wobble, and then you fall. So, even though it looks like you'll tip over by leaning to the right and you're making a right-hand turn, you can't lean that way. He was 250 pounds, and I'm a $140, and you wouldn't think that would make much of a difference. But there was a point where I did not pay attention, and I sat up straight while he leaned this way, and I felt the bike wobble, and
You sat back down?
I'm a proud agnostic, like, strict agnostic, actually, and, I was having conversations with him, and I was like, I know we haven't spoken in a while.
Hey.
I've been MIA, I apologize, but please. And it was like a voice that came to me and was like, you're not gonna die on
So I think you did have a revelation then, at 26.
Just that it wouldn't happen on a bike, but I'm still not going to do it again while he has just that one. It was too small for me.
So definitely a bigger one.
Would you ever get on a bike?
I have been on one. It was
scary.
It was very scary, and it was actually in Ecuador.
Really? The laws are different.
Also, they don't have, like, laws that, like, when you ride in a...
Unbeknownst to me, I had asked him a day or two later, I said, you did really well with a passenger. Had you ridden with a passenger before? He said no. I said,
Wow.
Is that something, like passenger etiquette, is that something they cover in school when you're studying to get your motorcycle license, or was that something that you had to just learn through experience? And he made a funny face. And he was like, well, there's a few ways you can get your motorcycle license. And I was like, go on.
Proceed.
And he proceeded to tell me that he doesn't have it. He was like, oh, people do it all the time. I'm like, that's a horrible reason to do something because everyone else does it. But especially after finding out that piece of information, I won't be doing that again until a few things are checked off the list.
Right.
But
you're gonna have a whole list.
My mother was not happy and was all, why did you do that? Why did you do that? Like, she's very anti-motorcycles, and I told her that it was singularly because I overheard him say weeks before to his friends that I would never do that. And I was like,
challenge accepted.
I'm mad you're right. And I was like, Andrew, 1 through 25 would never have done that, but 26-year-old Andrew, he's a little bit more dauntless than the other 25 years. Yeah.
I like that.
Thank you.
So you said, so far, to clarify, you have your own apartment now.
Yeah.
You ridden a motorcycle for the first time, and
smoking.
You quit smoking.
Yeah.
That's
that's
a big one.
10 years, a pack a day every day from 15 to 25, and I thought, that's enough. But, funny thing, it was actually almost out of spite too. The same person that said I wouldn't get on a motorcycle had said, when I told him my New Year's resolution for 2019, he said, you're never going to quit. And I said that was my goal for the year. And I realized that he looked very right when it was January 27th and I still had not quit yet. I said, what, like, just to prove certain people wrong and for myself, like, let me stop. So I stopped cold turkey. I switched to a Juul overnight. I have not had any interest in having one since. It doesn't feel like the victory it should feel like because I'm still technically stuck on something, but I cut out about 400 chemicals, so that's nice. But when people make comments like that, it puts like this grudge mode in you, and like grudges could be so motivational if you like use them the right way. Like everyone says like, oh, don't hold a grudge, but like there's a healthy way to have one as long as it's like benefiting you. And like, so even though it was out of spite, it's not the best reason to quit, but like there was other reasons too. It was just a small part of many other things.
Have you noticed any changes in your health since you stopped?
Yeah, and instantly it's like your sense of smell returns almost instantly. But I didn't realize how muted everything was while I was a smoker. I'm smelling people's colognes when they're half a block away from me. Wow. I smell food when I'm walking down the street, and I didn't realize that like I had been missing that for 10 years. Like smells I haven't smelled what feels like since I was a kid. 15 was a long time ago. But that was the first thing to come back. The second was when you're resting and you sit up really quickly. I used to have to really quick after, and now I brace myself to feel like I have to do that, but the feeling doesn't show up anymore, and I'm like, you don't realize how consistently throughout the day it's making you feel like not that great. And like the second you quit, you go to stretch and you have to do it for like a second less than you used to, and like little things like that. But like probably the biggest has been just breathing. I can run up a flight of stairs now and continue walking without having to put my hands on my knees, hunch over, and like gasp. And it makes you ugly. It's so expensive. Like if I could go back and fight my 15-year-old self as he took the first one, I absolutely would. But when you're young, you don't take warnings seriously, especially from older people. So I didn't listen. Lesson learned. Oh.
Awesome. Do you know
it's not
like
going to be a bike. I hope it's not cigarettes either.
Do you know exactly like what your triggers are?
Trigger? Can
like
you rephrase?
to smoke a cigarette, you know, if
Okay,
you're upset.
I thought that the hardest would be the morning with coffee. It's not. The second thing I was most worried about was my first time drinking alcohol, because I kind of chain smoked when I drank. And I made a mental note, like, okay, the first time you go out and drink heavily, like, really don't even take one from somebody. But I went out to a friend's house. I hadn't planned on drinking. I was petting his dog and catching up with him. He offered me a beer. I took it. We had a couple of more, and then I was in the car on my way home, and I was like, oh my God, I already did it, and I didn't even know. I was like, what was I so worried about it? This is like so much easier than I thought. Now I'm trying to push everybody onto the Juul as if I'm a promoter for the company. And I probably sound so obnoxious, because nothing is more obnoxious than the people that constantly hound you to quit while you're still a smoker.
Yeah.
And overnight I became one. I'm trying to check myself and keep telling myself to shut up so I can let people, to each their own. Like,
How long has it been since you quit?
January 12th at 9:30 p.m. I had my last cigarette.
Wow.
And I was so grossed out by it after a decade that I thought that when I smoked my last one, I would take it all the way to the filter. I was halfway through it and was like, no, like, my Juul is charged now. Let me see what it's about. And it's the same feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So that's helped tremendously. I don't think I would have been able to do this unless I had an electric cigarette. But, like, the biggest adjustment is all the time you get back, because you don't have to make a 10-minute trip outside 20 times a day. You don't have to schedule, okay, I'm eating dinner now, I'll have one, and then I'll come in and do the dishes. Like, I can walk through the house and have this one and not think about it. And I used to sit at my bedroom window and smoke cigarettes all the time. And now I go there and I pull my Juul out and I realize, I'm like, I could sit in my bed, I don't have to be here. And then I'll walk away from the window and kind of pace around my room, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with all this extra time. I used to literally be shackled to, like, my porch, my deck, my window, outside bars. That's actually been, it's ironic that that's the adjustment, because I used to tell myself, like, oh, when I switch to e-cigarettes, I won't have to go outside anymore, like, for when it's not that fun, especially in, like, the winter time and what have you. But I didn't realize that you still can't have these in bars or restaurants. So it's funny that the smell of cigarettes is probably a trigger. Like, everyone told me that it would smell horrible when you quit. They smell amazing, and that's the only time I miss it. And if I'm out at a bar, I have to go outside like I'm still a smoker and stand next to people still smoking cigarettes and smell it, and it's like life's way of testing you. Like, just a lot of inhaling and exhaling out the mouth, so that I don't have the feeling come and revisit me, because I don't want to touch one again.
Well, your friend's been supportive with that?
Yeah, and actually, my older brother quit right after I did, because he saw how easy of a time I had, and a lot of people never thought that I would quit, because I was a heavy smoker. I have addiction running in my family, but I didn't know that when I started, because everyone that was addicted to something gave it up years and years and years ago, before I was even here. And I didn't know that alcoholism was a thing. I didn't know that when we pick up cigarettes in my family, we don't put them down. And I found out after the fact, and I was like, oh my God, I'm probably gonna do this until I'm dead. But just because I had so many people doubting me when I would hypothetically talk about quitting, I was like, it really motivates you to, like, want to do it, like I said, out of spite. It's never really a good reason to do anything, but, like, the outcome was absolutely worth it. And I'm just trying to get the rest of my family to quit now. But
oh, you have more people in your family?
My younger sister has gone back and forth between cigarettes and electric cigarettes for years. I don't know why. And my mother actually quit smoking before she had her first child, my older brother. Didn't smoke again, had 3 kids, and then when I was in high school at 15, and I brought home a pack, she took it from me, and weeks later, there was a lot of arguing in my house that day, and I walked out onto the deck and caught her having one, and I was like, really, since when? And she was like, honestly, not since 1990, and it was 2009 at the time. And I was like, I don't want to be the reason that you start again. Like, you shouldn't have taken them from me if you were going to have them. And she was like, it's just one. She still smokes to this day. The thinnest lollipop stick looking cigarettes, Capris.
Yeah.
Like the Real Housewives of New Jersey smoke them. That's her excuse. So they're not that bad, but we're trying to get her to lean off them. We started backwards from youngest to oldest with smoking in my family, so now that I quit, hopefully I inspire them to do that too, because
like a domino effect.
I didn't mean to inspire everyone to pick up cigarettes, but if that's what I did, maybe I can inspire them to pick up jewels.
I'm trying to reverse it now.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It does a lot of damage. I didn't realize how many things come back when you stop, or how many things recover so quickly.
Yeah.
I read that your hair gets thicker, and I was like, that can't be true. And it absolutely is true. They didn't mention on the internet that your hair gets thicker all over your body, and your skin starts to improve. The lines on your face, if you're still young enough, they can fill out, and you can get your look together. Like,
yeah.
Oh my god,
You're
the
young.
smelling thing has been my favorite part. It's like having a superpower. The only thing is that it's a blessing and a curse, because for 10 years I wasn't smelling bad smells either. Now I do. And people would always be like, oh my god, you don't smell that? I'm like, nope.
It's
Feel
getting
sorry
warmer
for
now.
you though, and now that I quit, I'm like, oh my god, there they are. I'm like, that's what everybody's been talking about. But yeah, it's the craziest thing. I can smell rain before it comes. It's like,
Wow.
yeah.
That's a dramatic change.
The smell of like wet concrete in the summertime, I haven't smelled that since I was little, and I forgot about it. I smelled it for the first time the other day, and I was like, I almost wanted to cry. I was like, oh my god, this reminds me of being little and playing outside my house. Like, you don't realize what gets away from you while that's happening. You just think it's something that happens as you get older, but no, it was the same.
That's awesome.
So don't smoke. Ever.
Message for
There's
everyone,
no
don't smoke.
excuse. There's absolutely no excuse.
Well, I'm glad you quit.
Thank you.
You're 26.
Thank you.
You're young.
And then what did I do? I jumped on the back of a bike.
Yes.
I'm just testing my limits.
I think you're starting off really
26
good.
is just I'm done with the adrenaline junkie behavior.
You're not gonna jump off a
no,
plane or anything? No.
I'm way too. But that's exactly why he made that comment. I'm so about safety. Even when he drives in the car, sometimes I'm like, yeah, I would annoy him with how often I would constantly be reminding him to be careful. So when you're on a bike, you can't really communicate. It's very loud.
Yeah.
It was like, I can't make any comments. I can only do so many gestures with my hands to tell him what I think about his driving. But he swore that I would never do this, so for that reason alone, I absolutely have to get on the back of this bike. And when we got off, he was like, wow, I'm so impressed. I never thought you would do that. And I was like, I know, I'm just full of surprises. It bothers me when people think I'm predictable. Like, you'll never quit smoking. I'm like, you were probably right, but now that you said that, I'm going to stop just to show you that, like, don't think you know everything.
Yeah.
But those are the only exciting things that have happened so far. Just that and cleaning my new house. Like, it's such a process, putting everything in its place and where things go.
Is there anything
Combing
else?
through the space, and no, not really. People keep asking how it feels to turn 26, and I feel bad I have no better answer to give them other than what I've been able to come with so far, but I'll probably have a better answer at 27. 25 I could talk about, but not 26. It's still too early.
It's been a week. Not even.
Yeah, no, I used to think that people are my age were so adult when I was younger, and now I'm older and I'm 25, and I'm like, yeah, no, they really... They were still a kid in so many ways.
Yeah.
And still figuring so many things out. But no, it's been really, really calm and quiet. I definitely I have plans to go out and celebrate with some friends tonight. I actually had already set everyone straight about times. They thought that we'd be going at 9. I said no, 7. Mm-hmm. And everybody said, well, why so early? And I was like, I don't want to stay till last call and stay up and entertain guests and put everybody to bed and then get to bed myself by 4 or 5 a.m. Because if I wake up on Sunday at 2 p.m., like, I'm fine. I will absolutely be late to work on Monday, and nothing bothers me more than being late on Monday specifically. Mm-hmm. So I told everyone, if we start earlier, it'll still feel like we had the long night that we all want to have, but 2 a.m. will feel more like 4 a.m. if we go out by 7 as opposed to 8:39.
I really like that logic.
Yeah, we can still party as hard as they want to in the same amount of time. We're just moving it up a little bit because I don't know if it's because of getting older or my tolerance, but alcohol and me, like, we're not friends like we were when I was 15 or 19 or 22. It's very different. I need very little as opposed to what it was like when I was younger. And one day is not enough to recover.
No, not no more.
No. Especially not Sunday. You spend the whole day bedridden and then you go to work Monday and you still don't feel right and it wasn't worth it and you wasted your weekend, and that's not fun. So
yeah.
This year we have to do things a little bit differently, but that's just part of getting older and being responsible, growing up, and doing what you can to avoid having a horrible Monday.
You brought up work, so how's work going for you?
Work has been exhausting, but I think that just comes with being a little bit older too. I used to have the energy to crush it every day as if it was my first day on the job, almost showing off in a way for your boss, like, look how capable I am. It could be that, or it could just be how much time you've spent at a job in general, but...
What is it that you do for work again?
I'm a dog walker in downtown Jersey City, and your week starts feeling really long by late Tuesday, early Wednesday, and it didn't used to. And yeah, 5 days is so much longer than it once was. Monday through Friday flew by in high school, or when I was in college, or when I worked and didn't have responsible hours, so like the schedule would be different every week. Weeks flew by. Now, Monday through Thursday takes what feels like 10 days to pass, and then Friday through Sunday is 20 minutes. Yeah, we should not be working a 5-day work week. In other countries, they don't do that. They have 3-day weekends in Italy, and I think we should take a cue from them. They seem relaxed, they seem happy.
I agree.
I have my family come here from there, and they say, they're like, oh my God, I feel so bad for you guys. You just run yourselves into the ground for your money, and then you don't have the time to enjoy it. And I'm like, yeah. Like, so they don't like staying here for that long, but... No, other than that, work has been good. There's nothing like holding a puppy when you're having a bad day. So, but sometimes it's them that's giving me bad days. It goes one way or the other, but yeah, time slows down as you get older. Only when you're doing your responsibilities and working, but when you're trying to do anything that, like, for leisure, or like anything that brings you any sort of joy, like, flies by, and you just learn to appreciate time a little bit more, because you realize how limiting it is as you get older. And everyone keeps telling me, they're like, oh my God, you're so old, you're 26, and I don't feel old at all.
I think you're just starting though.
I think 30's young, like, these days. Like, I see people who are in their early 40s and they're having fun like a person in their late 20s did 10 years ago. Like, the schedule, the clock, the timer that's, like, people put on your life is shifting in certain areas, I feel. And I'm not in a rush to grow up, because I was from 15 maybe 20, and then I realized, like, wait, bills and things like responsibilities, they don't stop coming. Like, no. So now I just try to do whatever thing I can to, like, still feel like a kid, but there's certain obligations you can't get away from as you get older. So that's another thing I would have a conversation with my 15-year-old self about if I could, while I was tackling the cigarette issue. Slow down. Yeah. You were a kid you're an adult way longer than you were a kid, so.
What do you like to do for fun?
Honestly, with work, I haven't been getting that much free time, but combing through my apartment and trying to find a home for everything and stuff like that, that's kind of been a hobby in and of itself the past couple of weeks because it's something you literally think about all your life, and like I don't have any adult or person supervising me or overseeing what I'm doing. I have no one to bounce ideas off of. It's all on you. So between that and just being really scattered, my friends and my family all live very far apart. Everyone has very different schedules, and it's very hard to just get my family in the same place at the same time. I'm actually celebrating my birthday with my family 3 weeks late. We'll be celebrating not this weekend, but next weekend. And Mother's Day we're going to celebrate on Wednesday of this week because, yeah, Mom works on weekends. For her, so, yeah. Time being limited, another thing that comes with being an adult, you just prioritize things differently. I used to swear that I couldn't have fun or enjoy myself unless I had X amount of time with my friends, X amount of time alone, and X amount of time to go out and do things that I enjoy, but the things you enjoy change as you get older.
Yeah.
Reading a book and drinking coffee in my room, I never thought that would feel like a gift, a privilege, but like it absolutely does. And you just appreciate, even if it's 20 minutes before bed and you don't get to do everything that you hope that you would get to do, but like you get to do a little bit of something that like you chose, like that's the for fun for me now is that. I probably would have different hobbies if I had more money and more free time, but hopefully that'll come later after a few more years of hustling and school and work and saving money and this and that. Hopefully I acquire more free time. That and your hobbies change as you get older. I could be into rock climbing next year. I have no idea. I'm still trying to decide whether or not I like the motorcycle thing, and a year ago I would never have done that. So your hobbies change, but right now, whatever amount of free time I could get, I just spend it doing something that brings me calm, zen, relaxing, because I'm moving, going, doing the rest of the time, and you take whatever little windows that you get to just enjoy yourself, and if how you enjoy yourself is being lax and not really doing much, then I will take that. But I never used to read either. Books cover to cover for fun, but I appreciate it now.
What books have you been reading?
There are these books, I'm embarrassed to say I forget the author's name right now, but there are these books that, it's like a poem a page, like a few lines. Some pages are filled completely out, and then other pages are like a sentence or a sentence fragment at that sometimes, so you tear through them so quickly, but there's so many, and I've read these books to find that on 99 out of 100 pages, they all said things that were pretty stupid. But then there'll be one little passage in there that I'm like, oh my god, I just had a major perspective shift. And it'll make the whole thing worth it. So I've been tearing through those books, but as a kid, you hear, you have to read this for school, and you just want to, like, it's not fun when the material's picked for you, and it's not something you find stimulating or that doesn't have your interest, but like, who knew at 25 I would pick up reading, and I'm like, wow, I'm actually enjoying it too.
26.
Like, yeah. And when you close it, you feel like it brings you a sense of accomplishment. You feel like you achieved something, you finish a good book, so.
Good.
That's another thing. People kept, the word accomplishment reminded me. It was something I had to say to somebody the other day. My younger sister was teasing me about turning 26 and said that you're so old and pretty soon you're going to be losing the color in your hair and this, that, and the third. And I just got offended, and I turned around and looked at her and I said, listen, that's an American thing. In other countries, like, age is celebrated. It's seen as something you accomplish. Like, you made it through everything up to that point. Like, they're respected. Only here is it something that it's like, oh, you got old, that's a shame. Like, how is it a shame? Like, people are like, oh, how does it feel turning 26? And I'm like, well, what was the other option? Like, I'm glad to be here. Like,
right.
That's all I can do.
I'm here.
But,
well, wow.
we're out of time.
Yeah, you did so good. Okay, so Andrew, he just turned 26.
In case you haven't heard.
He's being dauntless now. He's living his life, quit smoking cigarettes, has his own place.
Trying to not be so predictable.
Yeah, trying to be so predictable. You're evolving.
Thank you.
And I'm really proud that you quit
Metamorphosis,
smoking.
yes.
Definitely.